It's been 28 weeks since the outbreak began. 28 weeks of chaos, death, destruction, and somehow the British still don't season their food.
Not even the rage virus could convince them to use paprika.
London is in ruins, families torn apart. A military occupation has turned this city into a quarantine zone. But you know what they don't tell you in this movie?
That even during the apocalypse, the rent in London is still unaffordable?
That, and if you accidentally leave your partner behind during an outbreak, you might just become the most hated husband in horror history.
Honestly, Don should have just admitted he forgot the door code. He could have saved us all some time.
So tonight, we're diving face first into a world where the military tries to restore order, but only ends up unleashing hell all over it again. Because nothing says second chance at survival like firebombing civilians.
Welcome back to Horror Cinema Obsession, where we ask the important questions like, who greenlit letting Robert Carlyle run anywhere near civilians?
Let's tear open 28 weeks later, and don't worry, we double check the door locks this time.
Welcome to Horror Cinema Obsession. Here, we dive deep into the chilling depths of horror cinema, from the critically acclaimed scares to the laughably ludicrous, and even the delightfully obscure. Now, let's join our hosts, Richard and Angelus, as they share their love, laughs, and sometimes sheer disbelief at the world of horror movies.
Do I ask too much, Angelus? Like, when we start and when we're recording, not to make noise, silence your phone.
True. It's silent.
It's silent?
Yes. Why?
I'm just saying. I bend over backwards for you.
You bend over backwards for me.
Just.
It's always silent.
Oh, we're recording, by the way.
I know. I saw.
Welcome back, guys. It's Horror Cinema Obsession.
We are fucking introverted.
Well, if you don't know this by now,
I was like,
I'm one of your hosts, Richard, and this is my beautiful co-host, as always, my beautiful wife,
Angeles, about to get fired, apparently.
You're not gonna get fired. I love you.
I was like, why am I getting put on the spot? My phone's on silent.
I know you did good this time.
Oh, always.
You know that's my pet peeve, man.
There was one time.
One.
Yes. Where it did a little.
Mm-hmm.
That was.
Anyways, man.
You always start with, we got a good one, guys.
We do. We got a good one. Based off the cold open, I'm pretty excited. We, if you don't know by now from the title of the new episode, we are covering 28 weeks later. Not 28 days later. Not 28 years later.
Nope.
28 weeks later.
Mm-hmm.
Man, before we do that, though, Angelus, I want to talk about,
Oh, sure.
I want to ask,
oh.
how has your week been? This was a short week. It was Memorial Week. Not to date our episode, but
Oh, my.
man, we had a pretty good week. You got celebrated at your work. You got a high achievement.
Yeah, I got a paid trip to the Capitol to get a little award for sticking around, y'all.
Sticking around. Let's all, everybody, snap clap.
Snap. That was pretty nice
Proud
of
of you.
them.
You've been there 5 years.
Yeah, they
Incredible.
bring everyone in from all over the state. They gave us lunch, a little
You
award.
nerded out in the Capitol.
Yeah,
Oh,
they gave us a
newsflash, here's a trivia question. What is the capital of Washington, guys? Please send in your answer on our Instagram.
Yeah, but we got a tour
Don't Google it either, you cheaters.
of the Capitol building.
Talking to you, El Chico.
Pretty. Which was
I'm kidding,
cool.
I'm kidding. You what?
I said, no, we got a tour of the Capitol building, which was pretty cool.
I know, dude, they got gold curtains.
They got fucking gold thread in there.
They got a fountain. Like, what the hell? What kind of bougie-ass
They don't
capital
have
is
a
this?
fountain, but they do have the biggest collection of Tiffany's,
Silverware?
not silverware, chandeliers,
Ooh.
crystals, whatever the hell from New York in the world. I was like, oh, shit.
Amazing. Well, on top of that, I spun
And
in a
then-
baseball game. That was awesome.
Yeah, we got to see the Mariners win.
What,
and then,
what?
how did we end our trip? Richard, where did we go?
Oh, my God. I took us to Mount Rainier. We went to the top of that sumbitch.
I always eyeballed it and I was like, it's so huge and majestic. One day we should go. Next thing you know, we're fucking taking a detour on the way back home.
Add an hour and a half to our thing. Surprisingly, it wasn't bad.
No, it was really pretty up. Like once you got to the top.
Yeah, we'll have to post some pictures because that
Ton of snow.
was beautiful. Yeah, it was
The
weird.
view was freaking breathtaking.
75 degrees out, but then there's like
at the top
7
of the
feet
mount.
of snow like
Yeah.
layered in there. That was incredible.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah. So that was a magical time. Childless. That was great. It was an adult trip. Loved it.
Loved it.
Loved it. Just to go back, so that was our week. I'm trying to make it a little personal for you guys. And I like to talk about it.
You guys,
so.
if you haven't heard, go donate blood, platelets,
Ooh,
plasma. What else?
that was another magical thing that I need to. Yes, we should. As most of you know, some of you know, I work in a blood donation center. And so, yeah, the importance of donating, please go out there if you can. I won't say too much on it. But, Angeles, you can speak on this. You just donated double platelets Sunday. How was that?
It was magical.
You got stuck by yours truly. That was amazing. How'd it go? Like,
it was good up until you told me it was over.
I almost killed my wife, guys. I almost killed my wife. She was on the verge of dying.
It was good, and you're like, all right, everything extra is coming back to you. I was like, all right, and I was like, no, I want to be done right now.
She's like, what's his name off the screen? I'm getting woozy here, man.
It was.
My coworker's like, damn, Richard, you're trying to kill your wife, dude. I'm like, I swear I'm not. She's just a pansy. She can't handle it.
We're all grossed out. You were like, oh, here's the towel. Clean up. You look like shit.
Oh, anyways, this experience doesn't happen to a lot of people. This is just her. Kidding. She didn't pass out, though.
Richard makes me nervous.
I know. It's just I'm a hot, sexy phlebotomist.
Walking around with this needle.
Yep. So anyways, go and donate if you haven't already. It's a great experience. If you're Spokane, just say Richard or Angela sent you, and they would love to take you. Now, let's start this show, man. I feel like we haven't started.
We haven't.
We're just having a good time. We're having fun. We're vibing. We're vibing like our first date. This is feeling good, huh?
I think our first week was a lot more awkward than this.
It was. Anyways, 28 weeks later, I never seen this movie. I don't know why. I just never took the opportunity to see it. I knew it was out there.
Mm-hmm.
I watched 28 Days Later. I really enjoyed that one.
You like that one?
I just don't know why it never came in. I think it was because that would have put me like a junior in high school.
Oh, yeah.
A lot going on. I was working at that point, a full-time job too. So movies were kind of sparing around that 07, 08 time for me. So this kind of fell through the cracks.
I thought you were going to be out doing your thing.
I was.
You were.
I was keeping that pimp hand strong, you know what I'm saying?
Get the hell out of here.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Have you seen this movie?
I have seen this movie before.
When did you see it?
I saw this like maybe 10 years ago.
10 years ago. Wow.
About.
Okay.
I just remember it scared the shit out of me when I saw it.
It scared you. So did you enjoy this movie?
I thought it was scary. Like,
do zombie movies typically scare you?
No, this one just gave me nightmares, I remember, because the zombies are very aggressive and very fast, and the way that
they're not zombies per se. They're just rage fueled people, but they're zombies. Let's just say it.
Yeah. So the way that they were coming, breaking through buildings, taking shit down. At the time where we were living, my bedroom had a really the biggest window of the house.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know why in my head I was just like, oh shit. Like if this was a thing, they would break through my window, no problem. Kill me first in Viana. And then kill everyone else in the house. And,
well, it wouldn't kill you. You would just be raged.
Yeah, it'd be raged. Same thing. You're dead.
And you would kill your family. My thing here, I have a hole in this. I'm sorry. We're just starting it. We'll get back to this. These rage-filled people, they affect the non-rage-filled people. But why wouldn't they? There's a plot hole in this, or a story hole, because wouldn't they just go after each other too? And effectively, they would just kill each other too because they're enraged. Doesn't matter what. Because as we see, Alice in this has the rage virus. She's immune to it, so she's not like super crazy, but she's still in it, and yet her husband attacks her. So just right there is a plot hole. I'm not trying to like poop on the parade here, but I always wonder that, even the first movie and then this movie, why aren't they? That's why they get a kind of a zombie rap. But even zombies, why the hell aren't you attacking each other?
I like the live things.
But the rage virus, they are, but
non-infected.
But rage, they're angry. So like, wouldn't they want to be angry at each other too?
But they're angry against the people that are
so
not infected.
Here's our next guest. We have Dr. Phil to explain rage. I'm just kidding.
Ew.
Anyways, we could talk about it later. But yeah, this movie, I don't know. I enjoyed it. But for me, this wasn't as much horror. This was like action. Like it was an action movie.
Okay.
Think of it like, and I have this in my
From
final
till
thoughts.
dawn.
No, well but think of it like this, like 28 Days Later, that was a full horror spectacle, right?
Mm-hmm.
That story was all horror. Think of it like Alien and Aliens. So
Mm-hmm.
Alien, the first one, true horror through and through. The second one in Aliens,
Mm-hmm.
that was more action. They were just running and gunning and, again, military based, just shooting them. Well, Alien versus Predator, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the sequel, Aliens.
Okay.
No?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's action.
Yeah. Well, how'd you feel? Did you think it was full on horror? Or?
I thought it was still scary. Because
it had scary parts.
Well, yeah, no, I think it's more of a psychological scary, not like in your face scary. Just think about it. Like, there's this virus. Okay, think about freaking COVID when it hit. Like, people didn't know what was happening.
We don't say that name around here.
But people were getting infected. Some people got in their heads and they wouldn't come out of their houses. With this, people are getting the rage virus. Like your family, your friends are affected. You're just taking off. You're getting killed if you get infected. That's essentially the route that they took with this. And there's no cure.
Yeah.
So it would still be scary.
Yeah.
Not like
I guess
super paranormal monster scary, but fucking virus. Scary.
I guess this movie for me, yes, I enjoyed it, but there was just frustrating points in this movie.
I could see it in your eyebrows.
It took me out at times. As you guys know, if you've listened, I get frustrated with story. It's got to make sense. What was the last movie we covered? Fender Bender?
Yeah.
It's just like that. It didn't make sense that her parents got on her ass and just lit her up for getting in a car wreck that wasn't her fault. Like, how do you get mad at somebody for that? Like, they should have made that story where the guy had her hit his fender. He slammed on the brakes, and then it was her fault. Something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of like this. There's just some, and we can talk about it when we go for the scene for scenes. But yeah, there's just some parts I'm like, what the fuck? That took me out of it, man. Took me out.
Okay.
Anyways, release date. This movie in the U.S. was released May 11th, 2007. And then in the UK, it released slightly earlier, April 26th, 2007. The budget that I found was an estimated $15 million. What'd you find for gross, Angelus?
For gross. So this movie, it did pretty good. First opening weekend, they made $9.8 million.
Okay.
In US, I have it grossed 28.6 and then 35.6 from other countries for a total of approximately $64.2 million.
Yeah. What was that first thing they made? You said $9 million?
$9.8 million.
What was that?
On the first opening weekend.
Oh, opening week.
Yeah, it blew up.
Wow, we usually don't get opening week numbers.
They had opening week numbers. It blew up the first weekend.
Nice.
It came in second after Spider-Man 3, is what I saw.
Oh, shit. That was with emo Spider-Man. Emo Tobey Maguire.
Yeah,
hey, I fucking seen that movie. Why the hell did I go see Spider-Man 3, but I didn't see fucking this movie?
I don't know, Richard. What were you doing?
I don't know.
Did you see? Okay, so I did see that they did something cool in UK before the film released. So 28 days before they released the movie in UK, they had huge biohazard warning signs around. It was on the White Cliffs of Dover.
Oh shit!
And it had the international like biological hazard symbol, and it had admonition that the UK was contaminated and keep out around the town, around the area.
I wonder how much they paid for that to put it on the cliffs of Dover, dude.
Yeah, and they timed it 28 days before.
That's
that was pretty cool.
amazing. So yeah, it made more than 4 times its budget. Definitely profitable.
Yeah.
This is one of the more profitable movies that we've covered so far. Even if it didn't become the cultural juggernaut 28 Days Later was, it's still respectable, and for the most part, I think people enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the filming location for this movie was primarily in the United Kingdom, London for the key ruined city shots, Canary Wharf and the Isle of Dogs for the desolate urban zones, Wembley Stadium area before its redevelopment, and Stockley Park used as a quarantine safe zone. Some interior shots were filmed on sets or modified locations throughout the UK. They had to shoot a lot of the city scenes in the early hours of the morning.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, around 4 or 5 a.m. to make London look truly abandoned. And yes, they got super lucky with weather and access because shutting down parts of London isn't exactly easy from what I read. And kudos to them because they did an awesome job with some of these shots. There's literally nobody on the London Bridge. Popular parts of London. London
Just
is
empty.
fucking, the population,
Busy.
they're crowded, man.
Yeah.
So the fact that they did this was pretty awesome. That was a big feat in its own.
So I don't know how you felt about some of the shots where it looks, because I thought they did a pretty good job of making it look deserted, ruined,
Yeah, it was fucking
empty.
awesome.
So I did see that the empty streets and those ruins, they were modeled after descriptions from Charles Dickens novels and photos of London Blitz from World War II. So that's what
Okay, that makes sense.
As to kind of resemble the empty streets and the ruins.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I enjoyed the aesthetic. They did a good job. I will say I wasn't a big fan of the CCTV look that they're going for.
Okay.
So security cameras. They're trying to get it as live footage as they could without being a Blair Witch.
Okay.
What are those movies?
They're like found footage?
Yeah, they're trying to get it as close to found footage as possible without being found footage. So I think they achieved it for the most part, but at the same time, give me a little bit more polish. I wanted a little bit more just because I hate that, looks like they fucking didn't even try, with some of the camera, the quality of it. For me, at least.
For you, I like the gritty.
Yeah, I mean, for horror, it's great, right? You can have gritty, but this just, I don't know. It looked more security camera, and I fucking hate that. It's hard to watch. I'm like, they could have done better. There's different types, and there's different ways to achieve what they're trying to go for, and they were definitely going, I think it's in my notes, they're going for that CCTV look.
I see.
Yeah, which, Now I do have, we want to name a segment because we do add fun facts to these movies. I thought a good name, and Angelus, you can come up with a different name if you want. But for this, I'm coming up with Obsessed Files. How does that sound?
Da-dun.
Yes, Obsessed Files segment.
Sure.
Maybe.
Whole paper, rock, scissors.
We'll gnaw on it a little bit. We'll gnaw on it, let it marinate. So 28 weeks later, some of the facts that I found, I just want to go through it just so some of it was good. So Juan Carlos Frenzendillo, he directed the film, right? We're going to cover his backstory. He took over from Danny Boyle 28 days later, the director of that movie. Boyle still served as an executive producer and directed the opening scene at the farmhouse, that crucial opening scene.
Yeah.
That's epic. Boyle did that, and that was the only thing he did. The opening sequence is widely praised as one of the most intense in modern horror. It was shot early in production and was intentionally designed to establish the sequel's darker, more ruthless tone.
Okay.
Would you have to agree? I think that it was pretty dark.
Yeah.
And it had one of the best jump scenes where the girl looks out and she's like, boyfriend,
The whiny one.
novia, and then fucking the zombie bit her.
We also found that a lot of the rage-infected characters in here that were portrayed, they went out and they found dancers and like parkour athletes, and they took some training to create more of an aggressive, those like movement styles to resemble the first films, like jerky infected movements.
So I did see that. I thought that was cool. And you can see, when I seen that note, you can see the finesse and the parkour, like all those like moving around. I'm like, oh, once I seen that note, I watched it a second time. I'm like, oh, there it is. There it is. Those are awesome. So they did get athletes to do this, what you kind of need with all the running and everything they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Insane. And then, so here's my notes I read. The movie was filmed on a mix of digital and traditional film using handheld cameras and even infrared surveillance style footage, which I don't like, during certain scenes, like the sniper sequence to reflect a militarized perspective. Again, I just stick with a traditional camera for me. Sorry, that's just me. I know it's a creative take, and I know some people would like that. Please, listeners, let me know your feedback. I could be wrong on it, but it's just my flavor. It's my taste. You know what I'm saying? It's my truth, as the kids would say.
Richard's truth. Angela's enjoyed it.
Okay.
Robert Carlyle, who played Don, he improvised some of the parts of his performance, especially those where he was having those panic moments. He said he wanted the character to be a little more flawed and human and not just like a right-in-your-face villain.
A straightforward villain.
Yeah.
I can see that. I could see him, and I think he did a pretty good job in this movie. He made people hate husbands, man.
You were like, oh, you fucked up.
Yeah, even you were spitting, man. You were like, oh, this motherfucker.
I wasn't. I was because it had been, I think I watched it, like I said, 10 years ago, and then that was it, and I haven't seen it again. And I was like, oh, yeah, this motherfucker.
This movie was kind of fascinating, and it didn't really, until the end, really set it in, but this film wasn't afraid to kill children, breaking horror taboos and making it clear no one was safe. This upset some audience, but was deliberate on the creative choice. So I love the fact that they do that, and I think that's what horror should do. Don't pull your punches. Children should not be safe, no exceptions. It's a movie, guys. It adds more effect to it. Now, do it tastefully. Don't just kill kids to kill kids. But you know what I mean? You know who recently did that I fucking love, that we seen in the theater? Dead by Dawn, Evil Dead, Rise.
Oh.
I fucking love that. That was awesome.
It's been a minute.
It's been a hot second.
There were several different endings to the movie that were filmed. One of them included Flynn the pilot surviving. There was another one that would take the virus to Paris, teasing the global spread. And then the Paris ending was used. It was used in the final cut to set up a potential third film 28 months later, but it never happened. But now we're getting 28 years later.
That would make logical sense. Why didn't they do 28 months later?
I don't know, man.
Man, real missed opportunity there, guys. But it has been. Has it been? No, it hasn't been 28 years.
No, 2007 to 2005. It's been like 17 or something years.
Oh, 17. They should have waited.
It's coming out this year, right?
Yeah. I can't wait, dude. 28 years later.
18 years.
Yeah.
Dang, it's been a minute.
But that's interesting. I would love to have seen those different alternate endings. I think it would be fun.
They should have like a Blu-ray with all the different endings that you can pick.
That would be freaking
Whatever
awesome.
Flavor ice cream you're feeling today. Do you want him to die like this?
Let's take a quick pee break.
Yeah.
We'll be back with a new segment, guys. Hold tight for just a second. but we'll be right back. The new segment is called Obituary, where we write the obituary for the fallen characters. We'll be right back. Welcome to the obituary section, where the body count isn't just a number, it's a cautionary tale.
Some of the souls were brave, some were reckless, most were just incredibly stupid, but they all met the same end, screaming, bleeding, or blown to bits.
We honor the fallen, not with flowers, but with brutal honesty and maybe a little well-deserved mockery.
Now, let's pay our respects.
I love that intro. Guys, this is going to be an ongoing segment, I think, moving forward. Let us know if you like it or not. I'm here to guide you to the other side.
I'm not going to be surprised if, like, I don't know, in a couple months you have our own fucking obituaries written.
Oh my God, that'd be hilarious.
I'm just going to pass them out to our family.
Our
be like,
last
here
episode.
You go, guys.
No, we got some good ones for this movie. I'll start with the first one. The obituary is that one random civilian who tried to hop on the helicopter to survive. Name, irrelevant. Backstory, non-existent.
It's serious.
Launched himself at the chopper in full-blown panic mode. Like a man who just realized this was his only ticket out of zombie hell. Didn't sneak, he dove. No plan, no permission, just pure adrenaline and the emotional stability of a gas station burrito. Caught a full-on zombie blood money shot to face mid-leap, like an 18-year-old porn star with unresolved father issues and no goggles. The engine was hot, the blades were spinning, but he didn't make it aboard. Died mid-air, mid-dream, mid-regret. Buried under shame, eroded insides, and the life choices that brought him to a group he wasn't even invited to die with. So, rest in peace, that random civilian guy who tried to hop on that helicopter.
I can just see his blue shirt. I'm gonna live!
I think his name was Corey, but
I don't remember.
I like
his name.
random guy.
Random. No, backstory, non-existent. Very, very on point.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I love it.
The one who dove.
All right. Who do you got?
Okay. This next one is for every rich zombie in the helicopter scene. Showed up with the Olympic sprinting energy and group project aggressions. They came charging like brunch was almost over and mimosa refills were mandatory. Unfortunately for them, they met a helicopter piloted by a man with zero clearance and even less patience than Richard. I'm kidding. Flynn flipped the chopper into food processor mode and turned the horde into a Jackson Pollock painting made of meat. Body parts rained down like confetti. One zombie was last seen trying to crawl away with only a torso and some light ambition. Cause of death? Aerial manslaughter by a spinning blade of pure fucking energy. Survived the virus, didn't survive the salad spinner of doom. Rest in peace.
Yeah, let's all pay our respects. Every raised zombie in a helicopter scene. Okay. Next one. The quarantine zone. Born from optimism. Funded by delusion. Advertised as the safest place on Earth. It lasted roughly the length of a Netflix episode before being turned into a flaming hellscape of bad decisions and body parts. Staffed by soldiers with itchy trigger fingers and supervised by scientists who couldn't identify a viral carrier if it bit them in the face, which, spoiler alert, it did. Died screaming, burning, and collapsing under weight of its own hubris. It was supposed to be humanity's second chance. Instead, it was London's most aggressive fireworks display. Rest in ash, you overfunded death trap. You had one job, and that job was not to start the apocalypse again, but with more cameras.
Bravo, bravo.
Let's pay our respects to the quarantine zone.
Okay.
Who are we paying respects to next?
The next person is Major Scarlett Levy.
Ooh, rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Army medic, amateur geneticist, possibly certified through an online course. Her idea of containment protocol was letting 2 children with unknown exposure run around a secure facility like it was a Chuck E. Cheese. Still, she tried. She really did, guys, which makes her death all more tragic and hilarious. Her skull got caved in by a rage zombie dad with the punching power of a wrecking ball and the emotional depth of a vending machine. She was the only one trying to save the future, but forgot the golden rule of science. Never turn your back on a man you medically clear with nothing but a flashlight and hope. Rest in pieces, Scarlett. And by pieces, we mean mostly forehead.
Too soon. Too soon. She's gone too soon.
She's gone.
Oh my God. I hope this segment is like awesome. I'm having fun doing this.
What do you have next?
Okay. I want to pay my respects to Flynn the pilot.
Okay.
Helicopter pilot. Emergency Uber driver. Walking HR violation waiting to happen. Spent the entire outbreak yelling, "Nope," while watching humanity fall apart from a safe altitude. And honestly, he had the right idea. Only came back for his sniper buddy, some kids, and one very sketchy mission he absolutely didn't want. Gave off strong, "I'm too old for this flying, firebombing, firing bullshit" vibes. And was 100% correct. Died trying to do the right thing. Classic mistake. We salute you, Flynn. You deserved an early retirement. Instead, you got chewed up by the same people you were trying to save.
Rest in peace, Flynn.
Rest in peace.
Oh my gosh. Okay. And next, we have Sergeant Doyle.
Ooh.
Sniper, soldier, full-time pervert with a government badge. Spent most of the apocalypse pressed against the scope, not so much watching for threats, as he was checking in on civilians with the intensity of a horny drone pilot. He peeped through windows like it was part of his job description, then somehow got promoted to child escort duty. Because nothing says trusted adult like a man who whispers, "She's not the one," while staring into a stranger's apartment. Died heroically, sure. But let's not forget, he died the same way he lived, way too close to a fire and with his eyes locked on someone else's business. Rest in peace, Doyle. Or don't. You're probably still ghost peeping through windows in the afterlife.
Rest in peace. Oh, that was a good one. Oh, fuck. Alice Harris. Survived the rage. Survived the rage virus. Survived isolation. Survived being abandoned by a man who ran faster from commitment than from the undead. Carried the rare immunity that could have saved humanity. If only her husband hadn't greeted her with an open mouth viral payload. Died in a sterile lab, not from infection, but from misplaced trust and a dawn-shaped mistake. She was hope incarnate, until hope made out with disaster. Gone too soon. Blame too little. Deserve better.
Rest in peace, Alice.
Rest in peace.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
Okay, next we have Don Harris. When the infected breached the farmhouse, Don made a bold survival choice. He locked the door behind his wife, swim dived out of the window, and ran like his vows were written in disappearing ink. He later told his kids she was dead because lying is faster than therapy, and moved on with the emotional range of a damp dish rag. Months later, she turns up alive. So Don thanks her with an open mouth kiss that reignites the rage virus and dooms the quarantine zone. He died doing what he did best, unleashing chaos, dodging responsibility, and sprinting in the opposite direction. This week's deadbeat dad of horror. Take a bow, Don, but please don't touch anyone on the way out.
Rest in peace, Don. Thank you for sharing that motivational or movement. It was very moving. I'm sorry, I'm so choked up. I don't even know my words. We got one more tonight for you folks, you listeners. Tammy and Andy Harris. Children of Don and Alice Harris. Biological miracles with the emotional baggage of a mid-season HBO drama. Outran soldiers, evaded zombies, and watched every competent adult in their lives die horribly, trying to protect them. Carried the cure to humanity and absolutely zero survival instincts. Last seen wandering around Paris like a couple of lost tourists with blood in their backpacks and the apocalypse in their DNA. Presumed dead, or worse, alive and responsible to France's worst sequel since Taken 3. No graves, no goodbyes, just a trail of corpses and a final whispered question. Were they worth it? Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Their stories are over. Their guts, however, are everywhere.
Another grave closed, another scene cleaned. That was the obituary section, guys, where rest in peace is more of a suggestion.
Namaste.
Is that? Are you using them properly?
We'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
All right. So that was obituaries. I must say, if you couldn't tell, we're having a good time. Again, let us know if that's something you'd like to hear from us again. Yell at us, Instagram or TikTok. We love it. Or send us a friendly email or a handwritten letter. Amazing.
What's the email, Richard?
You got a new one. At Horror Cinema Obsession 24. Because I forgot the password on the other one.
At gmail.com?
Yeah, gmail.com. You can send the original one too. I got that. I finally figured it out. So we got multiple emails, but Horror Cinema Obsession at gmail.com or Horror Cinema Obsession 24 at gmail.com.
Or slide into the DMs, man.
Yeah, slide in my DMs, girl. Let's move on. Let's talk about the cast.
The cast. How did you feel about this cast, Ricardo?
I felt pretty good about it. It had a lot of people up and coming later on.
Yeah.
Their careers got going, but I enjoyed it quite a bit. The cast wasn't the issue of this movie. Even the script wasn't an issue. It was just some of the
you just
holes.
did in person, yeah.
Yeah, some of the logic failed this movie, and it took me out of it quite a bit. But the first ad that I have on the casting list for me is Robert Carlyle. He plays Father Don, Don Harris. The role is cowardly husband turned patient zero 2.0. Background, he's a Scottish actor known for intense, often morally gray roles. Love that. Known for balancing indie grit and mainstream power. So notable films that I have, Viana pointed out as well. Trainspotting in 1996.
Trainspotting?
Yep, he plays Begbie, the terrifyingly unpredictable psychopath.
Okay.
He's also in, I don't remember him in this, but haven't seen it in a long time. The Full Monty, 1997. He earned him a BAFTA for his role as a down-on-his-luck steelworker. And then we have Ravenous in 99, a cult favorite horror western with cannibalism. I wouldn't mind watching that. The World is Not Enough in 99. He's a Bond villain in that. Don't remember him in that. Wow. And then you guys pointed this out while we were watching. He played Rumpelstiltskin or Mr. Gold in Once Upon a Time, proving he's good at both menace and charm. So just a quick fun fact, Carlisle brought real emotional complexity, like you were saying, to Don, even though we still hate him for that kiss.
For the kiss or for...
Yeah, and slamming the door on his wife's face. That was awesome. I liked him in this. Have you seen him in anything else?
the most recent thing that it's Once Upon a Time as Rumpelstiltskin.
Yeah. I'd never seen that show. Is it any good?
It's pretty good. It has a few big names. Like now they're bigger names or people that we've seen in other movies.
Who?
I don't remember
Putting you
off
on
the
the
top of my
spot.
head.
Oh, man.
But
I got it.
it's interesting. It blends like fantasy, like your typical Snow White. They jump back and forth between real life, and then they go into this once upon a story fairy tale world. You meet a lot of characters.
Does it sound like my jam?
No, probably not. It's a kind of it was interesting, but no, he plays a
Is
really
it kind
good.
of like Grimm, another NBC show?
Kind of.
Okay.
But he plays a really good evil Rumpelstiltskin. Like sometimes you
No
feel
shit.
bad for the guy because he wants to fit in with society
Yeah.
and the people, but he also has this, his history, and then he'll turn around and be an asshole and fuck you over on a deal because that's what he does.
So, sorry, this is 28 months or 28 weeks later, but so let me guess. Like, once upon a time, there's real life and they're just normal folks, and then they fall asleep and go into
I
like
don't know if
Neverland.
they fall asleep. I think they find a portal. It's been years. I only watched a handful of episodes.
Okay, so it wasn't that good. You didn't finish it.
No, my friend, at the time, she was the one that was really into the show. So when we would be over, she would be watching this. So that's where I saw this. But yeah, I remember he just played a good villain.
Okay. Yeah, the next person we have. So I remember her in, what was the Parent movie? It was Seth Rogen. Anyways, Rose Byrne.
Neighbors?
Yeah, Neighbors. Rose Byrne. She's Major Scarlett Levy. Her role, U.S. Army medical officer, calm, smart, and ultimately too compassionate for her own good.
Mm-hmm.
So background, she's an Australian actress who built a career out of switching between horror, comedy, and drama with ease. And some of the notable films that I have for her is Sunshine 2007, another sci-fi thriller produced by Danny Boyle. Never seen it, but I wouldn't mind watching that.
So that's the reason why he stopped. I had to drop 28 weeks later because he was working on Sunshine.
Oh, shit, but Rose Byrne can do it?
She was like, fuck you, man, I do both.
She also, and I forgot, she's in Insidious 2010, Insidious Chapter 2 in 2013. So she's giving off that Scream Queen vibe, baby. But I'm not going to justify it.
The third one, too.
Yeah. But she's barely in that one, I think. But man, maybe I'll have to justify it if she's in another movie that we cover, if we cover one of those. I know how you guys like my arguments on that. And then Bridesmaid, she was in that. That was pretty good.
She was in X-Men First Class.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize she was in that Netflix movie, I Am Mother. She did the voice of Mother, the robot.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that was her.
Yep. And then Lost. So I've never seen Lost. 2004 to 2010. Did you, oh wait, did I have that? No, I don't have that. Sorry, that was another person. That was in my notes. I was like, Lost.
I was like, I thought that was Flynn.
Yeah, I was like, she would have been really kind of, maybe not young. But, so yeah, Neighbors in 2014 and Neighbors 2 in 2016. That's where I really remember her. She said she wanted to do this film because it was grimy and not polished, unlike typical Hollywood thrillers.
Ooh.
So she liked the CCTV trash.
Don't call it trash.
No, I just hate that. I just hate that style. And then we have the legend here, Hawkeye, Jeremy Renner. Jeremy, he plays Sergeant Doyle. His role is a sniper with a conscience. He's the real MVP of this movie. Breakout star, just a couple years away from this film. He's a couple years away from his Oscar-nominated role, The Hurt Locker, which I've never seen.
I haven't either.
Heard it's pretty good. Never watched it. Became mainstream through action franchises. You know where I did see him first? And I love it. Circa 2004, I want to say 2003, 2004. SWAT. With Samuel Jackson and Colin Farrell. Jeremy Renner's in that.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he is. Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe you're right. Maybe you're not. He was in Thor, and I mean, like you mentioned, he's been Hawkeye in a bunch of those Avenger Marvel movies.
Yeah, the franchise. And then he's in The Town with Batman, Ben Affleck. And
that Ben Affleck.
And his last role that he's currently in is Mayor of Kingstown from 21 to now on Paramount Plus.
24 I have.
It's a political drama. So I've heard good things about it. He did recently get in a wreck. I'm in a snowplow, man.
Yeah.
Almost fucking killed him.
Yeah.
We almost lost Hawkeye, guys. Sergeant Doyle, we almost lost him in real life. I was going to write a real obituary. It was nuts. But he's good. He's in good health, man. But it did fuck him up. I remember watching Kimmel, and he's just hobbling out there with a cane. He lost his voice, was coming back.
Jesus.
And he lost a ton of weight. He was like rail thin.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, definitely not in Hawkeye shape.
No.
So yeah.
Poor guy.
Yeah, but he was good. He signed on before he was famous and reportedly did most of his own stunts in this movie.
Oh, you go, Hawkeye.
Oh my God, he's just a regular Tom Cruise. No, I like him. He played a serviceable role in this. Pretty good. Who do we have? Who else?
We have Imogen Potts.
Oh, yeah. Imogen? Maybe you pronounce it right.
Imogen.
Poots. As Tammy Harris.
Yeah, the sister. I have a couple memorable things here. She was in V for Vendetta.
Yeah.
Solitary Man.
We just watched this recently a few weeks ago, Vivarium. Remember that, where they are looking at houses to buy and they get stuck?
Was that her?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was. I don't know why I would list it. Yeah, that was a trippy fucking movie.
She also is in the remake for Fright Night. Remember when I made my world famous?
Your pozole?
Yeah, my pozole. And she was in that. That was a pretty good one. I did see that in theaters. And then The Green Room. And then I most recently seen her in who's the guy? James Brolin. He's in an Amazon. I think it's The Ranch or some shit. But it has like this hole in the ground and it's science fiction and you drop in, you go a different point in time. She was in that and I thought it was pretty good. They've since canceled it.
Wow.
Oh, obviously I can't even remember the name, but she was pretty good in that. I liked it. But yeah, this was one of her very first film roles. She was only 17 when this was released. Is that cool?
That is pretty cool. She's pretty young. And then we have Macintosh Muggleton.
He's a real muggle, dude.
Has Andy Harris. That's a full mouth of a name.
Macintosh.
Macintosh Muggleton.
We're going to name our kid that. Macintosh Muggleton Cantabile Diaz Jimenez.
He'll hate us forever. Having to write that down on any legal document.
His role as Tammy's brother has heterochromia, like his mom. That's where you have two different color eyes. Plot device in the shape of a child.
This was his first role 28 weeks
debut
later.
Performance.
And
he didn't do much acting afterward, though. He basically vanished.
Well, he vanished, and then it looks like he just started back up again. So he came back again for Salem Witch Doll in 24, Just Another Soldier in 25, and he did write and directed a short called Man in the Mist. And I saw in his credits and his biography, he has upcoming things that he's working on. Oh. So it looks like this is, now that he's an adult and he grew up, he's starting to pick up on the gig again, man.
Pretty cool. And then we have Harold Perrineau. He's Flynn, the pilot. His role, cynical chopper pilot, tries to do the right thing, regrets it all the way through. His background, character actor with tons of cult and genre credibility. Notable roles that I've seen, and I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen any of this. Well, I take that back. I seen The Matrix Reloaded and Revolutions in 2003. I've never seen Oz, though, and that ran from 97 to 2003. He was the narrator and inmate Augustus Hill in that show.
I did watch a few episodes of Lost, and I remember him there.
Yes, I remember I've never seen Lost, but I do remember him in like the commercials and shit.
And then I didn't realize he was in Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah,
Leo.
I seen that. I don't recognize him.
Mercutio.
I don't recognize him in that. Mercutio is one of the most iconic reimaginings ever, but I remember.
I can't remember which family he was. Is Mercutio with the Romeo or the Julia family?
Fuck, I can't remember. It's been years. We'll have to ask Viana on that one.
I don't know if she's watched it.
Yeah, she did the other day. She's like, "Oh, I'm watching it in my room."
No.
Yeah.
And then we have Catherine McCormack as Alice Harris, who played the mom. I did see that shooting with her was very limited because she was working in another theater play, some other big project. So they had to make the most whenever she was available. But some mentionable roles, she was in Braveheart. I think I've seen bits and pieces.
Freedom.
She was in Dangerous Beauty.
Dude, we gotta fucking watch
98.
Braveheart, man.
She was in Temple, which was a TV show and ran from
Hey,
2019
real
to
quick.
2021.
Real quick. How are you on Mel Gibson? I know there's a lot of... You kind of fell off.
Mel Gibson's a little cray-cray, man.
What?
I said Mel Gibson's a little cray-cray.
Yeah, but fucking Mel Gibson at his peak 80s and 90s? Fuck, dude. Those movies? Fucking fuck.
What did
Lethal Weapon? Mad Max? Braveheart?
Not memorable for Angeles.
Oh, hell no. We're gonna have
no, we are not, guys. We're not.
Yeah, Edge of Darkness. Dude, Mel Gibson's good.
You know what I do like of that he made was Apocalypto.
Okay.
He directed that. He was not in it. But
We Were Soldiers?
But he did good at going
even early 2000s
and casting people for Apocalypto. That movie was fucking
The only thing I
nuts.
couldn't get by is what was the fucking the Passion of the Christ. I never watched it. I was like,
I did. That movie
fucking
was
lame.
fucking nuts.
Was it?
It was very graphic for what it was.
I mean, graphics cool, but religious shit, man. You can sell that shit down the road.
It was the same story. There was nothing new. I think it was just you have to watch it at least once. Maybe not. Maybe I'll show you a couple scenes. The guy that he played...
I remember someone buying a nail from the movie. Was that you?
No.
Someone. I'm like, oh, cool story, bro. And they're all excited about it. Might have been Matheson. Yeah.
They sold nails from the movie?
Yeah.
No, the makeup that they did and like the visuals and the camera work were pretty good. It was gory. It was violent.
Okay.
More than your traditional movie.
Yeah.
And the person that he got to play the devil, he would give creepy vibes. Nobody else could see him.
Oh, I'm glad. We got sidetracked there. I just wanted to he doesn't get a lot of credit. He is crazy. Mel Gibson. You get your roses, buddy. I like 90s
one movie
Mel.
that I saw of him a lot was What Do Women Want?
Oh, that's another one. And then
I did watch
I like We Were Soldiers, and then I do like the other one where they're in the American Revolution. And I thought that was good too, but I forgot the name.
Nerd.
I know. Hey, those movies were great. He was like Colonel Cornwallis or some shit. Anyways,
Catherine.
Yeah.
Most recent, she was in Lockerbie, A Search for Truth, which is a TV show in 2025. And then we have the man, Idris Elba.
Ooh, that tall drink of water.
As he was Captain
General
Stone? General Stone.
This motherfucker was stone cold, pun intended.
Code red.
U.S. military commander overseeing the quarantine operation. Shit, man. At the time, Elba was still rising in the U.S., not yet the household name he has become, but already a legend to fans of The Wire, plays the role with quiet intensity and pure, I don't have the time for this shit energy. Yeah. So I guess he was maybe big on the across the pond, but yeah. Fans at this time would have seen him The Wire, 2002 2004. He plays Stringer Bell, one of the most iconic characters in TV history. Again, I've never got into The Wire. Maybe I should. I've heard nothing but good things. I did see a little bit. I think you showed me Luther.
Oh, guys, go watch fucking Luther.
Is it good?
It fucks, man.
So, are you talking about the Netflix movie or the actual show?
Well, I've heard good things about the show. I don't think I've seen the show. I just watched the Netflix movie.
That's where he kind of got his claim to fame, The Wire and Luther. He's also, is he in the Thor? He is in the Thor franchise.
Yeah.
Because he's the gatekeeper.
He's Prometheus.
What's his name? Heimdall?
Yeah,
he's the all-seeing gatekeeper. And then The Beast of No Nation, I've never heard of that, in 2015. Critically acclaimed, though. A war drama showed off his dramatic chops. And then you said Suicide Squad?
I said Prometheus.
Is he in Prometheus?
He's in Prometheus.
God, man, I think
character.
I got holes in my brain.
You do.
Because that does sound familiar. Oh, he is.
Who was he in Prometheus? When did Prometheus come
like
out?
the pilot or
2012?
something. Yeah.
2012. Do you know he was in Sonic? He does the voice of Knuckles.
Yeah.
Didn't realize we were listening to Idris. Okay, Prometheus. He was Janek.
Oh, okay.
that brings nothing to you. You just, okay.
Dude, so Elba shows up in this movie, says maybe 12 lines, and still manages to command the screen. Like he's ready to ignite a nuke under the desk.
Oh.
Honestly, Jenner Stone is the only character in this film who looks like he's seen the script before. He's not here to save the day. He's here to press buttons and shut shit down. Code Red, man.
See, now does that bring memory?
Yeah. No, I remember it, and it's been a while since I watched Prometheus, but do you like that one? I liked it.
I liked it.
And people give it shit, but I fucking love that installment. And I like Ridley Scott took a
different turn.
A route on that movie for the Alien franchise. And then we have the director, Juan Carlos Fresnadillo. Born December 5th, 1967. He's from Spain, but what? It's 10 or 5 Canary Islands, Spain?
Sure.
I can't say it. And so his genre sweet spot is thriller, horror, and psychological tension with international flair. I do have some of his career highlights unless you want to cover it.
So I do have, he is a director, scriptwriter, and producer. Started out in photography, and then he began his career with short films. His first full-length film was Intacto, which is what gained him recognition, and that's where Boyle recognized him from, and that's why he gave over the directing
Susan
gig
Boyle?
to him. No, not Susan Boyle.
Oh.
The director for 28 Days
I know,
Later.
Danny Boyle. Sorry, I was having a dad
Don't
joke.
fuck with me, man. I was like, what? No. But apparently one thing that I found is before
So, in
directing-
Tacto, have you ever seen that?
I don't think so.
So what I read is a twisty Spanish thriller about luck as a literal power, sort of like Final Destination meets The Matrix is what I read. It earned multiple Goya Award nominations and put him on the radar as a director with a sharp visual eye and a talent for layered storytelling.
It has good reviews online.
But that's
More or
what
less.
caused Danny Boyle to handpick him. Is that where you were getting at?
Yeah, he liked his movie and he liked what he did with it. So that's why he worked with him on taking over directing this.
So I do know the story was completely different before he took it on. He brought a more militarized, bleak tone to the sequel compared to Boyle's more emotional, survival-focused original. He leaned hard into themes of government failure, forced repopulation, and guilt all over this. So from what I read, it was a completely different story. He cited real world events like the Iraq War and the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina as inspirations for how military occupation and government overreach would look during a viral outbreak. And that's why 28 Weeks Later feels like a war movie meets horror.
I also saw that it was focused on 29 Days Later. And originally, again, the plot was
29
Yeah.
days? What the fuck's that?
the original story.
It's 28.
No, it focused on 29 Days Later, not the movie 28 Days Later. For this movie, 28 Weeks Later, before they selected 28 weeks, they were thinking of doing 29 days.
Oh,
later,
like the
day
29th
after,
day.
yeah.
Oh,
And
okay.
it was going to be focused on British Marines rescuing the Prime Minister and the Queen of England.
And that's a real action movie. So I'm glad they didn't take that. That would have been terrible.
And he was like, no, we're doing 28 weeks and we're
Yeah, give
doing
it some time
a
to breathe.
family look and we're doing this and we're doing that.
Yeah, give it some time to breathe. Other notable projects, we have Intruders in 2011, and that's a supernatural thriller starring Clive Owen about faceless entities attacking children. Less acclaimed, but visually strong and full of dread. I wouldn't mind watching that. Sounds right up my alley. He was attached at different points to some big Hollywood projects that never happened. A remake of The Crow, he left that project. BioShock movie would have been fucking awesome, which got stuck in development hell from what I read. Have you ever played the BioShock games?
Mm-mm.
Oh, dude, they're awesome. We need to get a fucking... I keep telling you, I want an Xbox or a PlayStation.
We have a Nintendo Switch, man. But you never use. It just sits there.
Again, we need to get like an Xbox or a PlayStation. And then the other one was Fallen, a supernatural thriller for Legendary Pictures, still unmade as of now, which, man, they need to get some of these off the runway here, man. Get them started. And then styles and themes for him. He's known for blending psychological weight with horror spectacle. He's more interested in the emotional toll of catastrophe than just the action. He loves moral ambiguity. His characters are rarely black and white. Dawn, anyone? It's very complex. Piece of shit dad and husband. Well, that's what I have for the director. He also is part of the writing team, obviously. But a handful of writers here. I was surprised. You got 3, but what I counted on this was 1, 2, I think I had more. 1, 2, 3. Oh, maybe I just have... No, I have 4. I have Rowan, Juan, the director, Enrique, and then Jesus. Who do you have?
I have...
We'll
the
just go
first
in order.
3.
Okay. So the first one that I have, and do you have him? Rowan, is it Hafe?
It's Rowan, yeah, Jove.
Hafe, Jove?
I sounds to me like Jove.
Co-writer, his background is British screenwriter and director, son of director Roland Joffe. The Mission, The Killing Fields is what his father directed. So the film is in his blood. Known for cerebral, often bleak storytelling. I love it. Some notable works that I have, and you can add more if you don't have them, or if you have more. Brighton Rock in 2010. That was a gritty remake of the Graham Greene crime story. He also directed that one. Another one is Before I Go to Sleep. That was 2014 psychological thriller with Nicole Kidman and Colin Firth. And then we have, this one was starred by Tim Roth, but the Tin Star, 2017 to 2020. It was a violent, darkly comedic crime drama. I think it was on like Amazon or something.
Okay.
I seen a couple episodes. I don't know if it was great. But Hafe is all about mood and moral gray zones, just like our director. You could feel it in 28 weeks later. The good guys are still dangerous and nobody gets out clean. This guy loves dropping characters into chaos and asking how far you go to survive, which I can definitely feel that in this movie.
I can too.
Do you want to cover the next one?
The next person we have is Juan Carlos Fresnadillo is the director.
Yep.
And then we have Enrique Lopez Lavigne. He's doing pretty good for himself. Born in 1967. He has worked extensively on Spanish cinema. He's a founder of Apache Films, which we've seen a couple of these movies.
Yeah.
As well, and Apache's Entertainment, as well as El Estudio. He studied in Madrid and then worked for years as a lawyer in Paris. And then he moved into media. And then what I do have...
What's his notable works?
I don't have them.
Okay, so what I have is The Impossible in 2012, producer on the Tsunami Survivor film with Naomi Watts and Ewan McGregor. Never heard of it, never seen it, but it's got some serious star power. Have you ever seen that?
No, I don't think so.
And then The Secret in Their Eyes. It was a Spanish original, produced, won an Oscar. Again, never seen that, but I did see this, and I was not stoked on. Veronica, 2017, produced the Spanish possession film based on real events. Blew up on Netflix. He usually is behind the scenes, but this dude knows how to push emotional horror without losing the chaos. It's debatable. He brought that gritty Spanish horror realism to a big budget sequel and made it feel personal, which I can kind of see.
You can kind of see.
So the second guy that we have, do you have Jesus Olmo?
No, that's the one I didn't write down.
Okay. So his story, the role in this movie was story by and co-writer. His background, he's another collaborator of the director Frenzendillo and Lopez Levine. He focuses on dark philosophical genre work. Some notable works that I have is he co-wrote Intacto, 2001, and known more for his influence behind the tone and the themes than for dialogue and heavy scripts. He's the guy who helps take these high concept ideas and make them feel real and terrifying. You can thank him for the whole what if immunity is just another death sentence angle. He kind of brought that to the whole shebang. Okay.
So pretty good overall. A lot of people with a lot of horror background.
Yeah, a lot of horror background. And that's awesome, man. It was very collaborative, it looks like.
Yeah.
All right. Should we take a quick break?
Let's do it.
Okay. Stay tuned. You will get a PSA on 28 weeks later. We'll be right back. In these uncertain times, one thing spreads faster than any virus: love. It's tender, it's messy, it clouds judgment. And in the wake of biological catastrophe, it's also incredibly irresponsible. Please refrain from physical contact, especially open mouth kissing, hugging, or any form of basic human decency. Your partner may be infected, or worse, emotional. Don't let passion become a pathogen. Maintain distance, maintain silence, maintain the illusion of safety. This message has been brought to you by the Containment Affairs Committee for a Cleaner Tomorrow, because love might be blind, but the rage virus isn't.
Two lots enter, one lot leaves. Two lots enter, one lot leaves.
Oh, Angelus, are you ready? This is our showdown. Yep. 2 plots enter, 1 plot leaves.
I didn't know we were in a cult now. That was a very culty tune.
I love the intro. This is our head-to-head combat.
I feel like we need robes with big ass hoods
Little
to
cloak.
cover our face. Yeah. And
Oh.
we need beads and yeah.
Yeah, so this is our plot segment. 2 plots enter, 1 plot leaves.
No pressure.
No pressure. As always, you get the courtesy to go first.
It was more fun when there was no official song. Now I'm like, I'm choking. I'm like, oh my God.
Don't fuck up. Don't fuck up.
And then you're like, 1 plot leaves. I'm like, oh no.
No, it's not a competition. It's fun.
You fucking made it
You
a
get-
competition, man.
If you're a first-time listener, we write our own kind of our plots, our interpretation of this movie. And yeah, we just kind of go head-to-head. It's not a competition.
Although Richard always says, mine was better.
I never said that. But anyways, as always, you go first.
I go first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 28 weeks later. Story of family bonds in the face of carnage. 2 siblings try to reintegrate back into their British hometown after it's believed that the rage virus has been cured. Security now being provided by the U.S. military, because why not? And what could go wrong, right? After Andy and Tammy find out their dad told them the biggest lie ever, an open-mouthed, slimy reunion kiss is the cause for hell breaking loose all over again. with now both of their parents, quote unquote, dead, for reals this time, and a military doctor taking over their parental responsibilities. One, who we might say has a YMCA nanny course under her belt. She tries hard to keep them alive, hoping they're the cure to the virus, which turns out tougher than she hoped, as everyone is now essentially becomes a shooting target. This movie shows that no one is safe when surviving is everyone's priority and humanity goes out the window.
Damn.
The end.
Okay. So you finished strong. The middle was a little flat. With your delivery, what you written was good.
So that means my plot goes.
No, mine could be a complete flaming pile of dog poo. Here we go.
Okay.
So 28 weeks after the rage virus gutted Britain, the U.S. military moves in to rebuild because nothing says fresh start like soldiers, fences, and mandatory rental scans. Don, a man who left his wife to be eaten alive, is now living his best post-apocalyptic life until his kids sneak out and find their very much alive mom and drag her back to the base like a cursed souvenir. Then Don kisses her because sure, why not swap spit with the walking biohazard? And just like that, the outbreak is back. Cue the firebombs, panic snipers, and zombies faster than your Wi-Fi. It's not a rescue mission, it's a rerun of hell with better lighting. And somehow humanity's future rests in two unsupervised children, a rogue sniper, a pilot who absolutely regrets picking up that call. 28 weeks later is a masterclass in military failure, emotional damage, and why you never, ever go back to your ex.
Stupid.
That was my takeaway. I was like, no, you can't go back. You can't go back to the job you quit. Can't go back to an ex.
It was
Can't
like
do the shit.
those people that they trick him into thinking they win the lottery, and then all of a sudden they're like, here's my true colors. Fuck you, I'm out. And he had to eat his words.
Exactly. That was hilarious. So yeah, 2 plots enter, 1 plot leaves. We'll let you guys decide.
Oh, okay.
So let's get into the moments that matter, huh?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. We're making good timing. We're at the hour and 16-minute marker. Let's do it. 101 hour and 30 minutes, they say.
Richard was like tight 1 hour 30.
A tight 130. Never the case. So moments that matter. Let's just start it off. I think the opening farmhouse scene would be a pretty epic moment. In modern horror, I would say this is an impactful one. I wouldn't say it's like the most impactful. I'd have to go back and kind of really think about it, but it provides the foundation to this movie. It starts out with Don and his wife. They have kind of an emotional moment. Looks like they got pork and beans, some old wine, and they're trying to
have a family dinner.
Yeah, and Alice, the wife, you can see she's like fucked up. Asks about her kids. Don, the husband, you start to see their couple. He says the kids are fine, far away. This moment, I thought he was lying. I was like, this guy's lying right off the bat. These kids are dead. He must have threw them in the wood chipper or something, shut the door on their face. But that wasn't the case. Turns out they were alive very much. But yeah, and then we see like random people. So he's just really an open mouth kisser because he just like,
oh yeah, they're making
she's having
out.
An emotional moment. She's like filling her kids, and he's like, let's have more kids in the situation, but gets cock blocked by an old lady that found chocolate. Yeah.
She's like, am I interrupting something? You fucking horn dogs.
And Don's like, yeah, trying to get my
this is the fucking apocalypse.
I'm trying to get my sausage wet, okay?
Ew. They probably haven't showered in how many days?
Hey, I don't think that matters to Don. But yeah, they end up sitting at a dinner table. They got a bunch of food. Their supplies running low. They make that comment.
Mm-hmm.
And it's super dark. It's super dark in there. It looks like it's nighttime. But as they're all eating, one girl is like still her husband or boyfriend took off on her and hasn't been seen in
Like 7 days.
yeah, and there's another guy who's pissed. He's like, he's not showing up. Get over it. And then they hear a knock at the door. And Don's like, whoa, don't answer that shit. But then they hear it's a little boy screaming.
Mhm.
And Alice, because she's missing her kids and has a heart, she's like, oh, Don, we got to help him. And they open the door. Big fucking mistake.
I know. I was like, you don't know if that kid's infected or not.
In that situation, would you open the door?
No, I'm sorry, but no. Like, yeah, I hear a kid, but I don't know if he's infected.
Well, I mean, the rage virus happens instantly.
Well, it happens instantly, but the other thing is this fucking people that are infected, they run so fast. Who's to tell you? And and they're smart, right? They're not like your traditional zombies that are just wandering around not knowing what is happening. They're chasing, they're fucking pushing through. And so I don't know who's following this kid, and that's exactly what happens.
Yeah. So they let the kid in. They're like, oh my God, where are you from? He's like, my parents died. And they're like, wow, you should have died too. But then at this point, they close up the door. But then that chick who lost her boyfriend that ran out on her.
She's like, honey.
She's like, boyfriend? And she's looking out the window and it's daytime. And that's when they're like, holy shit, it's bright out there. But then as she's looking out, the biggest jump scare of the movie, in my opinion, is when that zombie looks in at her and then grabs her and bites her. And then she's instantly a rage machine.
Yeah. How did you feel about the transformation? How quick it was?
I think it's awesome. That's what's scary about these zombies is it's instant.
Yeah.
Like there ain't no laying and waiting.
And dying and waiting around.
The other part about them though is when you shoot them, they're dead. Like you can pretty much kill them on the spot and be good and not have to just shoot them in the head.
I thought they had to shoot a couple of them a few times before they actually...
Yeah, I mean, the rage, the adrenaline's going, but like from what I've seen with the military, yes, they're shooting people in the heads, but they were taking them out too through body shots and shit.
Okay.
But yeah, so in this scene, quickly now the rage virus people, the zombies, are now infesting the whole building and they kick open the doors and smash open the windows.
Breaking down walls.
And now the people are forced to flee. Alice, unfortunately, runs upstairs with the little boy, and Dawn feels obligated at this moment to run upstairs too, while the rest of them run to the garage or the barn, and they're trying to seal it up. But again, they meet their fate pretty quickly, except one guy, he ends up bailing and jumping out the window. And he runs to the dock. He's trying to get the boat unhooked while they're running. And at this point, we see in the bedroom, Dawn, Alice, and the little boy. Alice is looking for that little boy and won't let him go. Although he's
Dawn
hiding.
Is like, dude, let him go. Let's go. And she's like, no, we can't leave him. I see him.
Yeah. And then at this point, she's like, oh my God, goes to him. And then the zombies come in. And now Dawn's like, holy shit, there's a zombie between us. He's like, come on. And she still isn't coming. Then she turns around to
She's
come.
She's like, Dawn, help us. And he's like...
Yeah, he looks at her and he's like, sorry.
Deuces.
Slams the door. This was not a hard decision for him.
No.
He was like, dude, I got to survive, man.
You know, he's a hated husband, but it's smart. Like, what are you going to do? The assumption they didn't know that anyone was.
My excuse would be like, look, someone's got to live for these children. You obviously love an other child and not your own children. So you chose him and chose to die. You don't love your kids. Sorry, Alice. I'm living for my kids.
It's like, dude, you got to run. You can't be waiting around being like, oh my God. Everybody pack up. It's like, go now. There's no waiting.
And that kid, I'm sorry, you're fucking, you hid in the wrong place. Like, you're being dumb. Like Alice in that situation. Bail.
But yeah, Dong shuts the door. He escapes out a window and runs out. And the fucked up part is... You think that the zombies are going to attack Alice right away, right? And that she's immediately turned. as he's running away, he turns around and she's standing by the window with her arm up, like, Dawn. And you're
Both
like,
of her
oh,
arms.
shit.
And she's looking at him like, Dawn.
I know. And you're like, oh,
and he
fuck.
looks like, and I swear he has a little smirk on his face, and he's just
He
waving
didn't.
by.
Wait, he just kept running, not stopping. Like, no hesitation of, oh, shit, she's still alive.
Yeah, he's like,
He
she's
didn't
dead.
fucking care.
He's already moved on at this point. He's
He
like,
took off his
who
wedding
is my
band?
next wife? Yeah, exactly. He's already like reinventing his life.
He's
and
just
shit.
a very selfish guy because he gets to the dock. The other dude has the boat ready to go.
Yeah.
Don jumps in there first. He does not wait. He's like, let's fucking go. And then they start pushing it
that's
out.
the only way to survive, though.
And then this guy's jumping. They're trying to start the motor, the engine, and he falls in the canal. And he's like, Don, help me. And Don fucking starts it, and he's like, bye.
Well, at this point, you can't help them because the zombies are not swimming because it's they can walk in the water. It's not very deep, and that guy just is torn apart, and he's instantly a rage monster.
Yeah, and Don's the only one.
I mean, you can't really. Can you blame Don for that? I'm kind of like, yes, he's an asshole, and you think, yeah, you should die with your wife. I don't necessarily think that. I think she made a poor decision. But at the same time, he could have had a little bit more effort. Like, hey, bitch, I'm going to leave the door open for you. If you make it, you make it. Bye. Like, you know what I mean? Don't just flat out lock the door on her ass and not give her any chance. But shame on Alice for not breaking through the window and just diving out.
Yeah, and running with him.
Yeah, dive out the fucking window, lady. Do something. Yeah. But I don't, in this situation, Don wouldn't have survived if he didn't do any of this. He would have been dead, and he was one that rapidly was thinking. And the other guy that died, he's nameless, I think, but he was part of that initial group. Mm-hmm. He would have survived too. He was doing all the right things. Unfortunately, I have to be selfish, but he ended up tripping and falling over and dying. He made a mistake where Don didn't. So I have a hard time blaming Don completely because I can kind of see it in that situation. I don't know if you can. I don't know what your perspective is.
Again, yeah, no, I mean, if it's about survival, I feel like this is what you want people to do in every other movie we watch where they're being chased, is stop fucking trying to help others, stop trying to pick up things, just get yourself somewhere safe.
Well,
and
at some point, you gotta help yourself, dude.
Yeah, he did, but yeah, and it was just, yeah.
Yeah, you know how they say in airplanes, like, hey, save yourself first and then help others?
Yeah.
He saved himself first, but forgot to help others, which is okay. I just don't want him at the seat where you are the one responsible for the door in the airplane.
Oh,
because that motherfucker's bailing. He's done. Like, there ain't no helping. But anyways, yeah, so that was kind of the opening scene, and now we cut to 28 weeks later.
Yeah, there's like a whole breakdown of how the virus spread.
And then it died because lack of food for these zombies. They ended up dying off, which is different from regular zombies that we can't come accustomed.
Walking forever.
Yeah, they just like The Walking Dead. They end up rotting and deteriorating, but don't fully die. They're just like their bodies just break down. Mm-hmm. And then other like Dawn of the Dead and stuff, they're just consistently going, mindless machines where they don't necessarily die, but they don't show them deteriorating either. So this is kind of an evolution.
Do you remember the town that the kid said he was from? Benenford or Spontford or something? Anyway, it's a spoof. It's a nod to Shaun of the Dead.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Because that was the made-up town that they lived in.
And the original movie was actually the same year as Shaun of the Dead.
And so Shaun of the Dead, it came as a result of 28 Days Later because they made fun of the movie. Yeah. And they made up this town.
They happened around the same time.
Yeah. I read that Shaun of the Dead was kind of making fun and grabbing some of the, elements from 28 Days Later to make Shaun of the Dead, and then they made up this town, and they made reference to 28 Days Later, I think, or something like that. So in this movie, the kid, he purposely says that he's from this fake made-up town from Shaun of the Dead to put a nod back onto them, just kind of like a play back and forth.
Okay. So now we cut to 28 weeks later. We see the military base in there. They're saying the zombies died. They're starting to move people back in. They opened up one zone, zone
District
1.
1.
Yeah, District 1. And you can't go outside the zone. And the first kids are Don's kids that come in. And the lead medical person, Rose Byrne's character, is surprised
Scarlet,
that
yeah.
there's kids because she was never notified and she was upset. She's like, this is the first I'm hearing of kids being here.
No, she's like, we still don't know, like, what could happen, how kids are going to react
This
here.
could
The
come
virus
back.
is fully dead. And they're like, chill out, man. It's fine.
Yeah. And you get that vibe. The military, everybody's bored. They're like, fuck, we need to just get out of this hell. Like, there's no point to be there, like they're feeling like.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we get the vibe. This is where we see Doyle, pervert Doyle, looking through the windows with the rest of the sniper guys, looking at people like having sex, a dude masturbating. You don't see that one. They just make the comment. He's like, man, this is the third one today.
Yeah.
And then just a bunch of different lives. So this guy's just peeping Tom throughout, which shame on those people. Close your fucking
I was
blinds.
just going to say, close your blinds when you're doing personal stuff.
Unless they have to keep them open so the snipers can see.
Because they're supposed to be, like, healthy people.
Yeah. But yeah, so it sets that up. And the second scene that really stood out to me at this point to keep it going, one, Don lies to his kids of how their mother died. He's like, yeah, it sucked. I seen her bitten.
Yeah.
She died instantly.
Dead, yeah.
Yeah. And they're like, oh my God, that's terrible. He even gets the crocodile tears going. But this drives the kids to have their own conversation. The boy, Thomas?
Andy,
he's like, I don't even remember what mom looks like. I don't even have a picture. And then so his sister is like, dude, we're going to go get it. And they know not to, but they do it anyways. They cross the bridge. And Sergeant Doyle sees this and reports it. But they end up going to the house. They're going through it, trying to pack up little things that they left behind. Andy finds a picture of his mom and him. And then he goes upstairs and he's looking. All of a sudden, he goes into this, what looks like hoarder buried alive. In there, she's like, whoa, this is nasty. And then he hears things and he thinks it's the sister. But then this person comes out
from behind the bed.
Yeah. And then it's his mom.
Yeah.
Clearly doesn't have the virus. She's immune. Again, this is
she
pretty
has
obvious.
A little bit of the virus.
Well, she has the virus in her, but she has a certain type of immunity to it because she's not raging. But she does have it. But again,
because she recognizes him, gives him a hug, but at the same time she's like holding back because she's almost scratching him and she scares him.
Yeah.
And he starts screaming and takes off running because she scared him. And then by the time they come outside out of the house, they're completely surrounded by military.
This is our first logic hole of this movie. In reality, this lady was out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she looks all fucked up. I don't think they bring her back because she's in the contamination zone. I think they shoot her, and the only way they're bringing her back is in a body bag. If they bring her back. What I think would really happen is they kill her, put her in a bag or whatever, and then set her on fire because clearly she's in the contamination zone and something ain't right.
But she's not acting rage.
Logical for me, though, because they wouldn't have brought her back to the facility. I'm sorry. They wouldn't take her to the clean zone. That wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, but they do.
And they strap her down and they're getting tests from her. They take her blood and they find out she does have the virus in her, but she has some sort of immunity to it.
Yeah, and so what was his name? The sergeant.
Yeah, Stone.
Yeah, so he's like, I don't care, kill her right now. And Scarlet, she's like, no, we need to do studies. We can find a vaccine, a cure, or something. He's like, no, kill her now.
So, and this up until this point didn't take me out of it.
Okay,
but this is what took me out. Is now good old father of the year, husband of the year, Don.
Oh, well, because before this, John meets up with his kids because they ran away and they're like, you fucking lying.
And they're setting up the story to
Yeah.
like, hey, I have access everywhere. I'm the awesome janitor or whatever, gatekeeper. Dude. And he gets notified. He's like, hey, man, your wife's alive. He's like, no, she's not. But ultimately, it's kind of funny because he has that moment.
he knows
He's like,
he
oh,
fucked
shit,
up.
I lied.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's really concerned going to see the kids. And they're like, you fucking
He stumbles and
told
he's like,
us you saw mom die. He's like, no, he didn't.
Yeah, I never said that. And he clearly did. And and he had tears and everything. He's like, I never said that. And he's like, yeah, I didn't see her die.
But I thought she did.
I thought she did. And the kids were like, wow, you're a dirtbag.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's really feeling bad. And this is where it takes me out of this movie. Because the military, the medical lady, the General Stone, they leave Alice unattended. Still strapped into a chair, right? But they leave the room unattended. There's no guards at the door.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care if Don has access everywhere. He would not have access into the medical facility.
There's no reason. Facility?
There is no reason that he would have access to that lab. There's no reason whatsoever, and they would have that high security. There would be guards at the door.
I thought he only had access to like the apartment buildings where they were where people lived, not like the military base.
And that makes sense. But the military base, that's what really took me out of this movie. Again, you guys are like, Richard, it's a story. Whatever, but that is a huge fucking logic hole there for me. That's stupid. You're asking a lot of me to believe that. But anyways, he strolls right in and nobody asks questions. Nobody even sees him. He goes in there and sees her. She's still acting weird. She's all quiet, but again, it was 28 weeks by herself or several weeks by herself. And you could see her eyes are all fucked up. She's not looking the best. But Don, he's like, baby, I'm sorry. I fucked up. And she's like, yeah, you did.
Forgive me.
Yeah. And I don't know if she forgives him. But
I don't know if she does because he's like, oh, he's like, I'm sorry. I love you. Is he the one that says that I love you or does she tell him?
Yeah. He's like, I love you so much.
And she's
I'm
like,
sorry.
Yeah, I love you too. And no, nothing else. And at the same time that they're having their interaction, the medical doctor, Scarlett, is telling, I forget his name. Stone. She's telling them that yes, she's contaminated. She is a carrier, so her bodily fluids will infect other people, including saliva. So of course, what does Don do? He fucking walks up to her,
and we see this news, and he's like, "I love you, baby," and then again, open mouth kissing. Out. He's like, oh.
You see the slobber back and forth.
Yeah, dude, he's like totally. And this girl is ravaged, like she is straight hood rat looking, and he is just fucking getting in it, dude. It's like eating a Skittle out of a butthole, man.
Oh my god.
That's
But her kiss, I don't know if she knew what she was doing.
To me, it looked like she was still angry and she knew what she was doing and bit him because he gets back. You said that wasn't the vibe. That's kind of the 2 times I watched that scene was it looked like she grabbed him tight and bit him. Like, yeah.
I don't know. It didn't look like she bit him. I thought it was just from kissing. I think as they're kissing, he immediately starts feeling the infection take over.
Yeah.
And immediately he's just like walking around and she looks scared because he's fucking starting to act crazy.
Yeah.
And again, there's no one, no soldiers, no one to be seen around.
Yeah.
And he...
not believable.
Turns fully. This next scene was fucking... It was like, when he starts just fucking beating her, punching her in the face.
Well, he's freaking out. He's hitting. He's got the rage virus. He turns around. His eyes are bloodshot, rage virused out. And he turns around to her. And obviously...
She's strapped, handcuffed to a bed.
Again, no, they're logical. She has the virus, gave it to him. But these zombies don't attack each other, but he attacks her. Which, to me, doesn't make sense. But it makes sense to you?
I don't know.
It don't make sense to me. It took me out of that. I'm like,
Okay.
why he's just having that past aggression of beating his wife? Like,
I guess she deserved a few beatings before.
Because it does show like he has memories because it shows that too, like his past, like,
Of him leaving her.
yeah. And it's like, is he thinking this when he's
I
a
don't
zombie?
know if this is them
Is
trying
this
to
what's
hold
making
on
him
to.
angry?
I thought this was them like having a little bit of like their human or non-infected life and having those memories to be like, oh, hold on to it and don't fully turn. I don't know. But yeah, he starts fucking attacking her, punching her aggressively. And then the fucking when he digs
Yeah.
his thumbs into her eyeballs, and it goes slowly, and he's just pushing. That scene was pretty fucking intense.
I liked it. That I did like about it. And then he ends up like biting her throat or something, right?
Yeah, he fucking shoves her eyeballs in and bites her throat and leaves.
Yeah, kills
room.
her, and then leaves the room. And that's another logic hole for me. How do you, when you're raged, these things in the movie, in the last movie, doesn't show they can open doors or anything. How did he open that door?
They evolved.
Viana said the door was open, but it was not open. It automatically shut. So how would he get out? Because you had to be at least a certain level of intelligence to badge yourself in and out of that door.
I don't know. Some of the other zombies were opening doors and breaking through.
They were breaking through, but there ain't no way you're breaking through a lab, military grade laboratory. I'm sorry. Not happening.
Okay.
Not happening, man.
Okay.
But he does. It happens. And he goes through the door, and then there's this other military dude just walking through casually, and he gets taken out and turns in. So it's starting to spread, and very quickly. So now, how does the alarm get triggered? Like, who finds that out?
Well, he comes back, I think cameras, they start seeing, because now they're biting, it's starting a chain reaction of soldiers biting other soldiers, and it's spreading quickly. And at one point, one of them comes back into where the kids are, but he can't get in there because they're locked up.
Oh, yeah, and he's just like in there, and they're screaming. They're like, oh, my God.
I
Actually, they don't even see him at that point. They see the other soldier that got bit by him.
Yeah, they don't see their daddy yet. But they're moving all this. Yeah, I think it's because it's spreading between, like, among the base. And so they start shutting everything down.
Yeah.
And they do have surveillance, like those cameras. So they start seeing.
Yeah,
that's where they see it.
Yeah.
It's on the cameras.
So they do it. They initiate the quarantine. And now this is the other logic hole that I have. They move everybody into one space, one huge space, lock one door. They have no soldiers guarding entrances anywhere. And they lock all these hundreds and hundreds of people, thousands of people in this like gymnasium and no guards whatsoever. And they're like, we're doing this for your own good. You would not do that. You'd probably send them to their rooms. Stay in there. We'll lock you in, right? But no, they do this. And then for dramatic effect, convinced, but then the boy gets separated from his sister and he's in there and he goes off to the side to get some air and he sees this door and easily walks through it is Don the zombie Dom dad, Dirty Dom. He's fucking going through the door and he sees his kid and he starts going after him, and then another dude gets it like in the middle and then he gets his face scratched. He starts a chain reaction and people start freaking out, obviously trying to escape. Andy ends up going into a vent to escape, but all those people, exactly worst case scenario happens, and obviously would happen because none of the doors were locked or guarded. So that happens, and now everybody's bursting out, and now the snipers are out there, and they're starting to pick all these zombies off.
But first, the instructions were to kill the infected. And once they see that they're not being contained...
Well, it's quickly getting out of control. General Stone's like, oh shit, we lost control. And he's like, we initiate Code Red. And what Code Red was, shoot to kill everything that's moving.
Every moving target, yeah.
And they start doing it, including Doyle. He starts taking everything out. But he instantly is you see it on him, he's hating it. He's like killing all these people. And what triggers him, he sees Andy in the middle of the little boy. And he's like, and he has him in his sights. But then he's like, dude, I'm not killing him. And he starts shooting other zombies around to save him.
Mm-hmm.
And Andy ends up getting into this where they stockpile food.
Oh, yeah. The warehouse.
Yeah,
Okay.
he escapes. Doyle's standing there. He's like, fuck, man, I just killed all these innocent people. He doesn't want any part of it. He ends up leaving
Mm-hmm.
and going down to where Andy and the rest of the surviving group is. And he's like, hey, man, we got to get out of here. We're going to die if we stay here. So fuck you guys. If you're coming with me, that's great. If you're not, you're not. They end up going quickly. A lot of these people end up dying, get sniped out.
And then the other thing is Flynn, the pilot, he radios down and he's like, hey, Doyle, just so you know, they gave another instruction. They're going to bomb the entire town
Yeah, he's
down.
giving them. He's like, you got fucking
4 minutes, he said, and everything's they're dropping bombs everywhere. They're on the way right now.
Yeah, he's like, oh shit, okay. And they have to move quickly. They do get stopped by a sniper. He ends up taking that sniper out. Although that guy took out a few of the people, now there's like 5 people left. They start running. They end up getting out to a field, and this is the next.
Flynn says that he's gonna meet him out there. He doesn't know he has people with him. He thinks it's just
this
Don.
is the next crucial part. Is now the helicopter is coming in. He's talking to Doyle, and he's like, "Hey, man, I'm 60 out." He's like, 60 minutes? He's like, nah, 60 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And so are zombies, though. And he's like, oh, shit. He's like, okay, everybody, let's move. And they end up going out to a field, and they see the line of zombies, and they have to get down in the field. I thought that was kind of cool. And at this time, they're still far enough away. Flynn, the pilot, drops the helicopter down to pick up Doyle. But he ends up seeing Doyle has a bunch of people with him. He's like, oh, hell no. I can't bring any of these people back. They're going to shoot me down. He's like, no, we're not bringing them to a base. We're going across the water here. We got to get them to France or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, hell no. And then one of the dudes, nameless civilian, jumps onto the helicopter, like, what do you call that? Like the leg or the deal. And he's holding on. And then
he's like, I want to live.
yeah. And he's like, fuck you. Get on my plane, man. Get out. He tries to shake him off. And then Doyle's like, hey, man, you got to do something. We're all going to die here. And then Flynn does. He does do an epic scene. And this is a homage to another zombie movie where the helicopter scene that our boy, our effects guy, Sex Machine.
Savini?
Yeah, Tom Savini did, where the zombie in a helicopter scene cuts the top of a zombie's head off. I think that this is a homage to that scene, because then they take the helicopter and they use the blades just to shred through all these zombies.
That was pretty cool.
I thought it was awesome. They're showing them exploding. Some of their heads are breaking off. Pretty graphic stuff. I thought that was pretty good. In that, the nameless civilian gets a money shot to the face of zombie blood, and he instantly turns and he's hanging, and then all of a sudden he just falls and splatters and dies. I thought that was great. One of my favorite scenes in the movie. And then Flynn's like, hey man, you need to ditch those civilians and make your way to like the stadium, the soccer stadium.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know what? They're going to be there with me, and you better be there too.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we see the rest of Flynn for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so that's the plan. They're going to try to make their way to the stadium now because there's safe ground that he can pick up Doyle.
Yeah, the next scene. So pretty much everyone that was in that group of people died, and it's just Scarlett, Doyle, and the 2 kids. And they start making it into town. At this point, they're dropping, it looks like gas bombs.
Yeah, well, now,
because
because General Stone says, okay, let's start the next phase, chemicals, chemical warfare. And then they do, and that's the smoke.
And so, yeah, they find a car, they get in, and at the same time, you see a bunch of zombies also coming at the same time. So they get in the car, they lock themselves in, and then they cover the vents and just try to hold out until both the gases and the zombies pass by. Yeah. And then we see the zombies start dying outside of them.
So
and
this
then you see soldiers and like hazmat suits, like those big helmets.
Well, the smoke instantly kills the zombies. So there are a human aspect where zombies in other movies, like Dawn of the Dead, they're not dying from those chemicals. They just keep going.
Yeah.
This movie is pretty short or fast paced. It's 140 minutes, a standard movie, but it felt pretty quick.
Yeah.
Where like Veronica is like, it was super slow, and when would it ever end? This movie fucking was start to finish pretty intense.
Go.
It was fast.
Yeah, so we see
Because we're almost done. We're in the stretch here.
Pretty grim scene where we see soldiers coming up, like I said, and they have like, what are they called? With the fire?
Flamethrowers.
Yes. Burning any bodies as they're coming across them.
And they can't get the car started, and Doyle's like, hey, hold that clutch. And when I say release it. He pops out to push the car to get it going because it's a manual. You could jump it and go and push and start it. So he ends up pushing. He's like, hey, I'll meet you guys
at the stadium.
Yeah, but then as he's pushing, and I thought this was dumb because Doyle, you have a gun, take out the flamethrowers and then push, because at this point he gets inflamed, engulfed in flames, which totally preventable. Take out those guys. I don't understand. Do you understand that?
He needed another heroic death.
I get it, but he could have survived.
Yes, he could have, but he didn't.
It was stupid. That was a dumb logic hole.
In Richard's opinion.
In everybody's opinion. How are you? Explain that to me. You wouldn't have done that in that situation? I would have taken them out.
I don't know if he saw them.
He did see them.
I don't know. I think he was sacrificing and just done fighting. Or I don't know if he was going to die regardless because he was already outside within the gases.
Yes and no. I don't know. Because those zombies died pretty quickly and he was still able to stay alive long enough to push a full vehicle.
But yeah, so he dies in flames. That's the last of Doyle.
Yeah, major characters, so they're not afraid to kill off main characters. I do like that. I just wish they were a little more clever with it.
So eventually the car, it crashes or it just comes to a stop, right? It stops working.
Well, they end up going down the subway, and that's kind of the last where they can take it. And they end up going down there, and it's dark.
Pitch dark. They can't see anything.
And the only way they're seeing, I thought this was kind of a cool take on it. She's looking through the scope of the gun, and it has night vision. And she's using that to guide the kids. And they're just walking over skeletons of bodies going down the stairs. The kids are freaking out. She's trying to guide them. And then at this point, they get separated because they all fall down. They end up sliding down because they tripped on a body. And they get separated, and we do see a mysterious shadowy figure in the background.
Spiking forward.
Yeah, and then Rose Byrne, her character, Scarlett, she grabs the gun and is like, oh shit. And then now we see Dawn. Dawn's the shadowy figure. He comes up, and we see him through the night vision scope, and then he just starts punching her in the face, and then grabs the gun and just bashes her head in.
He's a real angry guy. He survived so many like bombs and fucking things that they're doing to destroy them, and he's fucking...
And the kids can't see. Nobody can see. And they just hear the noises, or at least what's the girl, Amy? Tammy. She can hear it. Andy isn't around, but Tammy can hear it. And then it gets quiet. Dawn takes off. And then Tammy finds the gun. She looks down and sees Scarlett. Scarlett's gone. And Tammy's like, emotionally, she's like over it. She's exhausted and sees that, not about it. And she quickly panics and tries to find Andy. And then Andy runs into Daddy Dearest, Dirty Dom. And then Dawn
runs towards him.
Again, does Dawn recognize him? Do they have enough thought process to recognize him?
They have like moments, milliseconds of
and
like...
it makes them angry?
That it makes them remember like who they were as human, but then the virus is just too strong and it just takes over, and it
makes them angry.
You're just seeing red, man.
So yeah, he sees that. He ends up tackling Andy, bites him, and then he sees, and then Tammy runs into him and she yells, and then she sees her dad. They have a face-to-face, and again, Dawn acts like he recognizes her and then wants to attack her. She makes a split decision, shoots him, kills him dead.
Yeah.
And then she screams for Andy, but Andy runs away.
Yeah, he freaks out and he takes off running.
which I think he thinks he's turning. He doesn't want to kill his sister.
I think so.
So he's in the tunnel, and she's not giving up. She's like, fuck, you're the only family I have left. You're the only, I'm all alone if you die. So she goes to him, and he's crouched over. It looks like they're trying to build the suspense. Like, did he turn or not? Because you can't see his face.
And he asks, he's like, am I like them? And you can't see his face yet. And she's like, no.
Yeah.
But then he turns and you see his eyeball, the same, his left
Like
eyeball,
his
just like
mom.
his mom. You see a little blot shot, just like the claw just start pulling, and you know that he is infected.
And he has the immunity. And I think he only has the immunity. I don't think his sister does.
Yeah.
And and he's like, did I turn? And she's like, no. And they try to escape. They end up running to the stadium. And they make it. And Flynn is there sitting there. He's like, oh, hell no. And he has them at gunpoint. He's like, where's Doyle? They're like, Doyle didn't make it. And Flynn realizes, oh, shit, they sacrificed them. These soldiers sacrificed to save these kids. They are important. He's like, hey, if Doyle died for this, then obviously I got to do this.
Yeah.
So he had some sort of loyalty to Doyle. So they end up getting out of there. They start flying. And at this point, it makes it look like Andy did turn, because they show him and they're showing the eye, and then it cuts. It goes to black, and then all of a sudden it comes back up, and the helicopter's crashed. And then we see
just... And it's 28 days later.
Yeah, and then we see Paris just totally like overrun, and it's a quick shot of like 3 or 4 rage virus zombies running, but it makes you assume obviously Flynn died and the kids died. You can't see them, so it makes it think that there is going to be a third movie, which there is, but it's not the sequel they were intending. And that's the end of the movie.
That's it.
Yeah, it was quick. It was a quick movie. It was high intensity. It was an action horror. I tend to like these, but again, I think there was a lot of logic holes in this for me personally. Yeah. So how do you, after talking at length, how do you feel about it?
For me, I feel the same.
You feel the same?
I feel the same as before we had our lengthy discussion today. Like you said, there's holes in the story.
Well, do you agree there's holes in the story, or do you not?
Yeah, I mean, not all of it makes sense. I don't know where they were going with this. It was 2007. They were just trying to make it quick and just trying to keep this story moving without it making a whole bunch of sense at times. Or like you said, there's times where, they could have made other choices and have more of this character survive. I don't know if they were just trying to pull at people's feelings and be like, look, all of your favorite characters are dying.
Right.
But other than that like you and I have watched so many fucking scary movies or horror movies. I don't feel like it's as effective or as scary as maybe it would be to someone who doesn't watch a ton of horror. Gory stuff.
It wasn't as effective.
I don't know that our perception of it now is the same to someone who doesn't watch a lot of horror.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Sorry, I'm trying to look at my notes. I wrote out a good...
Where I feel like, I don't know, like my mom who doesn't watch a lot, I think that she would find it more
this
scary.
One would get her?
Yeah, I think like the whole family bonds and seeing them die and nobody has a happy ending.
Okay. Yeah, what would you rate this movie?
I would rate it a 3.
You give it a 3?
Yeah, I like where they were going with it. It wasn't perfect, but it wasn't the worst that I've seen.
Okay.
Yeah, what about you?
I'm trying to look at my notes. I'm trying to find it. I had it written out. So with this movie, I enjoyed it. It was good at times. I like the action. I like what they're trying to do, the vision on it. Again, it had those logic holes that it couldn't overcome. Honestly, I'd give this a 2.8.
Okay.
Just because the logic was major, man. I couldn't get over it. But the story itself wasn't bad. I liked it. It's a serviceable sequel.
Serviceable. It's not the worst sequel that we've seen.
No, not the worst. What would be the worst one we've seen?
I watched Chucky too. I'm trying to think of what other sequels we watched. It's not a sequel, but like Alien versus Predator. And then, not Prometheus. Was it Prometheus or was it Aliens? What did you have us watch? Where it wasn't.
It was Aliens.
It was Aliens?
Yeah, you didn't like that movie?
No, I'm saying that was another sequel. I was just trying to think of sequels that we've reviewed.
Okay.
Yes, man.
Yeah, I wish I had my fucking take on this. I wrote it out. It was good. Yeah. Damn it.
You have a favorite kill?
Mine? I would have to say random civilian guy.
Random civilian guy?
Yeah, he was great.
I'd have to say for me it was Alice, the mom.
Alice? That one did it for you?
Yeah, I mean, I felt like I kind of bad for her because she didn't have a fighting chance because she was strapped down. It was one of like the first like pretty fucking brutal deaths in your face.
Right. That one was pretty good. I know. I wish Dawn would have died a little bit better, in my opinion, but
I mean, having your kid shoot you.
yeah, exactly. Well, anyways, I can't find my notes. I'm frustrated. Sorry, this is kind of lagged a little bit. Thanks for carrying the team there. Should we take a quick break and we'll get into Viana's review corner?
Yeah.
All right, we'll be right back.
Viana's review corner. Sometimes she watches, sometimes she won't. Sometimes she's hyped, but most times she's mad. Take it away, Viana.
All right, everybody's favorite segment, Viana's Review Corner. And here is our segment host, Viana.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How about you?
Oh, I'm doing good. Yeah, you got some good reviews this time around?
Yeah.
You got some good ones?
Very mixed, yeah.
Very mixed, as always. To start, how'd you feel about this movie? You watch it?
Yeah, I rewatched it because I didn't catch the beginning of it last time, the first time I watched it with you guys, so...
That was kind of an important part, too.
Yeah.
Did it shape the movie a little bit differently for you?
Yeah, it showed, like, I guess, like, a little more about how it started.
A little more satisfying?
No.
No? What's your opinion on it?
I didn't like it.
You didn't like it?
Everything could have been prevented. This is kind of stupid.
Dude, right? That's what I've been saying. Your mom's rolling her eyes on me, but there's logic holes, right?
Yeah, like you said with the guards, they would have been by the door. They wouldn't have given him full access. And the kids don't need the picture of their mom.
Well, the picture of their mom, I can get why the kids would go out.
Maybe.
But the fact that the kids were allowed or able to, no.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Was there any other holes?
I don't know. There was a lot.
What was your favorite kill?
The mom, probably.
A mom? Dude, that's what your mom said. What's up with you guys with, like,
Mom's
deep-seated
dying.
fucking mom rage?
I don't know. They keep killing him off at the beginning.
Yeah, that was a pretty good one. Mine was a random civilian guy who tried to hop on the helicopter.
That one was good. I forgot about that.
Yeah. And then, what would you rate the movie? So it wasn't good in your opinion.
Like a 1. It's kind of boring.
Give it a 1.
It's
That's
kinda
fair.
boring.
I gave it a 2.8. Your mom gave it a 3.
Yeah, I don't know.
Why'd you give it a 3, Angelus?
Because it was all right, man.
What'd you like about it? You gave it a 3.
Oh my god, I already told you. The zombies were scary.
Okay.
As much as you don't like them.
It kind of lost me after this started, like, running. I don't know.
Yeah, it took me out of it too, which is okay. It's okay. Now, you have mixed reviews. What do you got?
Oh, sorry. Someone gave it 3 stars and said, and as usual, kids ruin everything.
Amen.
Someone gave it 4 stars and said, the U.S. military is responsible for your safety. And then they said, God help us all.
Right? Oh my God.
Someone else gave it 2.5 stars and said, 100% rooted for Rage Dad to tear his little shit kids apart for literally causing zombie apocalypse 2.0. How dare this movie think I should sympathize with those two fucking assholes after they break rule number 1 and cause the deaths of hundreds.
Right.
Someone else gave it 1.5 and said, opening is genuinely so good, and then the rest of the movie happens.
It falls apart fast.
Yeah. Someone gave it 2 stars and said, the editing in this alone could kill a small Victorian child.
That is not Richard.
Like, where was it? Where he was like, had the bad dream of the mom and she like tears off her face and it looks all
That was
fake.
another part to the movie. Like, are they somehow interconnected? It was weird.
I know. Someone gave it 2.5 and said, all of this just because of wanting a photograph. Characters are too dumb to the point that I think they genuinely deserve their deaths. The beginning was so good and utterly thrilling, but that's sadly all it went down afterwards. Acting performances was so-so, nothing special. All in all, a decent follow-up to its predecessor.
Yeah.
Someone else gave it 3.5 and said, creates another intense and dark atmosphere straight from the jump and features some great zombie moments.
I see that too.
Yeah. Someone gave it 4.5 and said, a masterclass in tension and visceral violence while being not quite as great as the original. Excited to see what direction these new movies take us. And then someone gave it 4 stars and said, dare I say I enjoyed it more than the first one. Maybe it's just because I can't stop thinking about the opening scene that was peak cinema. Also, me personally, if I found out my kids restarted the apocalypse after it had just been contained for a photo, those are not my children.
There's some serious ass whoopings happening in this household. Awesome. Well, thank you for that. As always, stellar job.
What movie are we watching next week?
Good question.
We are watching The Devil's Candy.
Ooh, that's my pick. Man, my last one was kind of a dud. Hopefully this one isn't. This is a never seen from me. Have you guys seen The Devil's Candy?
No.
It's another deadbeat dad. So, man, there's a theme to this fucking season.
Say, is that our theme this season?
Deadbeat dad season. Unintentional on my end. What about you, Angelus?
I forgot all about Dawn.
Daddy Don. Dirty Daddy Don. Triple D's. Yeah, that'll be fun. That's good. Well, all right. Thanks, Viana. We will be right back to finish this show out. All right, and that's our deep dive into 28 Weeks Later, a movie that proves no good deed goes unpunished, no helicopter stays clean, and open mouth kissing is a crime against humanity.
We watched civilization collapse again because one man couldn't keep his lips to himself. Love really does kill.
Shout out to the Rage Zombies for keeping cardio alive, to Don Harris for earning Deadbeat Dad / Husband of the Week, and to Flynn, who flew so we could roast.
If you like what you heard, follow us on Instagram and TikTok as well at Horror Cinema Obsession, and leave us a rating if you survived this episode.
We'll be back next week with another riveting episode. Until then, remember, don't run towards helicopters. Don't trust your dad. And for the love of all things holy, close your damn mouth. Hasta la gosi. Si. Ciao, ciao. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Horror Cinema Obsession. We hope you had as much fun as we did. If so, help spread the word by leaving a rating and review wherever you listen to podcasts. And join us next time for another episode of Horror Cinema Obsession.